On this whole, this MH17 question, does the U.S. government still stand by its previous statements and positions that in support of the Dutch investigation team that held that Russia was responsible?
We certainly do. The United States government has long said that Russia is without a doubt responsible for shooting down MH17. As recently as May, we put out two statements, and I'd like to read a bit from those statements. The first one came out on May the 24th. It said the United States has complete confidence in the findings of the joint investigation team as presented today by the Dutch public prosecutor. The missile launcher used to shoot down Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 originated from the 53rd Anti-Aircraft Brigade of the Russian Federation stationed in Kursk. It goes on to say MH17 was shot down by Russian-made surface-to-air missile fired from the territory in eastern Ukraine controlled by Russia and Russian-led forces. That was May 24th. May 25th, we put out another statement that said we strongly support decisions by the Netherlands and Australia to call Russia to account for its role in the July 2014 downing of the Malaysia flight MH17 over eastern Ukraine and the horrific deaths of 298 civilians. It's time for Russia to acknowledge its role in shooting down the plane and cease its callous disinformation campaign.
So why
we stand by those statements.
So why no statement yesterday?
Well, we joined, and perhaps some of you haven't seen it, but we joined our G7 colleagues and put out a foreign minister's statement. I believe it was Monday of this week, and I can read for you a bit of that statement. It says, among other things, we, the G7 foreign ministers, Canada, France, Germany, etc., along with the European Union, are united in condemnation for the strongest possible terms of the downing of Malaysia Air Flight MH17, a civilian aircraft flying from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur, July 17, 2014. It goes on to say, and I'm skipping down a few paragraphs, in a rules-based international order, those responsible for unacceptable actions, such as the firing or launching of a missile of Russian origin which intercepted and downed a civilian aircraft, must be held accountable. To this end, we call on Russia to immediately engage with Australia and the Netherlands in good faith and to address all relevant questions regarding any potential breaches of international law. We once again express our deepest condolences to the family and the victims of that flight. Our position on Russian culpability for this has not changed. Our policy on this has not changed.
I'm aware of that statement, and I'm aware of what you just said, but why no statement from either you or the Secretary yesterday on the anniversary?
Matt, we have put out 3 statements in 2.5 months, and we think that that covered it. We preferred to go with the G7 statement, and I hope the decision that the United States made this time to go with the G7 statement doesn't cloud anyone's judgment about our steadfast conviction that Russia stands responsible for the shoot down of MH17, and we stand behind the Dutch investigation.
Okay, but it's just that, you guys put out statements on anniversaries. I counted 14 that have been issued this year. Srebrenica, Tiananmen Square, death of an OSCE, an American working for the OSCE, the Good Friday Agreement, Rwandan genocide, any number of things. The Secretary puts out a National Day statement a day, basically. 18, there's been 18 days in July, there have been 18 so far. I mean, countries like the Comoros, Solomon Islands, Maldives. I just don't understand why, for the first time in 4 years, well, why is it less a priority?
You seem to think there's something nefarious going on here. I've just pointed to 3 statements that we put out on this, and I want to just say it one more time again.
People notice when things don't happen.
I get it. People seem to notice things. Let me just underscore one more time. The United States holds Russia responsible for the shoot down of MH17, and let me leave it at that. Okay?
Thanks.